There are a lot of younger students who would find it inspiring to see you as head boy.
Yeah, and and you two would also probably find it inspiring.
Well, that's what he's thinking about, is that he didn't have anything like that growing up. Which causes these kids to just repress themselves and repress their feelings, which is not healthy. Hello everyone, this is Venus Brown. I'm back with another episode of Heartstopper. This is episode 7 for season 3, called Together. Now, I seen something somewhere, I don't remember where it was, but something about a betrayal. At least I'm prepared if that is to happen, but let's go ahead and find out if or what this betrayal is gonna happen, what it's about. Anyway, the description says, the school year comes to an end. The students begin thinking about their futures. Charlie and Nick struggle to find a moment alone together. Okay, so if I recall correctly from the books, a little bit that I've heard about the book, because I only read the first book, it might have been from Solitaire. They hadn't yet figured out what they were going to do when it came to next steps, that Nick may end up going to a different school or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, fun. But, you know, that stuff happens, especially when you're not the same age and you're not in the same grade. It's just kind of inevitable in that situation. So, hopefully all ends up going well. We'll see. Okay, we just had a really tough election, and I am sorry if you don't like this kind of stuff. I will put timestamps in here so that you can skip on past all this political talk. Frankly, I'm feeling so irritated and frustrated, and I'm sorry if you don't like that, but like I said, you can skip past. I will put a timestamp, and I will put a message on the screen saying when you can skip to in order to skip past all the political talk. And yes, we just had an election and it went terribly wrong. I don't know what is wrong with the people, the voters in my country. I am not happy. And I get that some people completely disagree with me. That is your privilege. That is your right. But I am telling you, I have gotten freaking messages from family members that were really freaking rude, really freaking disrespectful to my posts on social media over my distress, telling me that I need to get over it and shit like that. Like, that kind of crap is uncalled for. And the situation is just, it is very freaking stressful. It is very worrisome. It was already worrisome. Now it's more worrisome. And some people are like, oh, well, you already got through 4 years. You can surely get through another 4 years. Yeah. We got through 4 years. It was awful. And it took us 4 years to get some semblance of normalcy afterwards. And now we get to go right back to that, only worse, because they've got a freaking Supreme Court that is backing them and that is saying that this guy has no freaking ability to basically be held accountable, as long as his shit is being done for his presidency. And he can make up anything he wants to claim that it's for his presidency, which is what he's done all along, among all the other awful things that he's done. Can you tell I'm really freaking not happy about this? Like, we already have been dealing with really unfortunate crap, policies and situations that put my family and my friends in bad situations. My kid doesn't even want to come back to Florida because they're afraid. Like, this stuff has a real effect on people's lives. Yeah, I have kids that need gender affirming care, and my state made policies basically saying that they cannot get gender affirming care. Like, that stuff is a problem. And then all the other awful shit that Republicans have been doing and getting away with and convincing voters to just go along with it. They'll claim that Democrats are evil, that we're socialists or communists, and we mean America harm and we're not real Americans. No, we want our country to be better. So we strive to try to make it better. That doesn't mean we're evil. It doesn't mean we're socialists or communists. In no sense of the word do we meet that definition. Certainly doesn't mean we're not American. We want what's best for our country, not for it to be ran into the ground by a dictator like Donald Trump. Should I completely delete all that?
Well, actually, I was going to say something about what you're complaining about.
Okay, go ahead.
So, in the other room, I saw Dad's YouTube homepage recommendations, and it already has a video of day one and already broken promises. One of Trump's claims is revealed as a scam.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Donald Trump's intent is at any given time. I just know that he plays to his base, does whatever he thinks he should do to get people to give him what he wants, which is attention and power. That is not somebody that should be running our country.
I also heard someone claim that he has already made it so the more people work, the more money they make.
That sounds like just because people like to believe the bluster that comes out of his mouth, but it's all bragging and it's not real.
Yeah, they said he's trying to make a meritocracy.
And that's what Republicans have wanted for a long time. I mean, I can't speak for all Republicans. I can't speak for all the voters. There's a lot of different reasons that they voted for this guy, but none of them are things that I can agree with. Most of them, to me, have just been buffaloed. They're following people that constantly lie to them. Somehow they don't see it, even though it is right in their face. But maybe, when you get too close to something, you can't see what's right there in front of your face. Maybe that's part of it. But there are definitely people that are fucking Democrats that voted for this guy. There's just so many things in play, and it's so irritating. And I don't get it, but, I'm not gonna get somebody who thinks completely different than I do and who buys into somebody like this. I could never agree with voting for somebody like this. That is not who I am. That is not who I've ever been.
Yeah. I don't know much about these people, candidates and stuff. I do know that either way I would not have voted for Trump. Someone was saying that Kamala's only goal was to make poor people pay taxes.
And that's all people just listening to the other side and paying no attention to what she's said. She's definitely said plenty of things that she wanted to work on. It's just so infuriating. This guy never should have been able to become president at all. Nobody should have been willing to vote for him.
Yeah.
And now he's broken so many fucking laws and he has massively abused his position. He should have been rightfully impeached and removed from office. He should have had every legal right to run for presidency taken from him a long time ago. And it was one excuse after another why they can't do that. And why the Republicans will never freaking agree to freaking make him accountable for the shit he's done. He has no loyalty to anybody. He's thrown how many of them under the bus? No matter how loyal they are to him. Yet he can't show any kind of loyalty to any of them. And the people that are following him act like he's really loyal, but he's not. And the things he does, the things that he pushes, are not conservative. I don't know what planet people are on, but this stuff is not conservative. So I don't even know why conservatives are following this guy, other than they think they're going to get financially better off of it. And the statistics and data show that is not true.
Personally, I think the vast majority of conservatives aren't actually conservative. They don't care about that. They just care about getting what they want. What they want tends to vary, as does everybody's wants.
I mean, they could be like, my uncle is financially conservative and socially liberal. They could be like that. But a lot of them aren't. A lot of them are socially not at all liberal, at least that's the way it seems. They might be financially conservative, but they don't seem to understand that conservatives have not actually benefited most people financially. They benefited the people that are at the top, but there's like 10% of the entire population that meets that. And then if you want to get down to brass tacks, it's more like 1% that are really the ones that are really benefiting from this stuff.
Yeah, it's funny. In my sociology class, anytime she like brings up something good that happened over time, she's like, yeah, it's a lot more liberal now. Way better. It's interesting that we use liberal for a positive thing, because usually liberals' ideas tend to be better than conservative ideas.
Progressive. People have this demonized idea of what liberal progressive is, but it's in the freaking name. We want to progress. And I know that people go overboard with that shit, but I don't see going overboard on being progressive as being worse than what Donald Trump is bringing, what Ron DeSantis has brought to our state. Like,
does the term liberal originate from liberation?
Free. Like, they want to be free. Liberals want everybody to have a fair shake, sort of. They want people to be able to live their lives without being constrained.
Yeah, it seems like it doesn't look like they have a shared origin, but they do seem to intertwine a lot.
All right, well, enough of the political talk. I think it's time for us to get to the show. Hopefully it's not as depressing as this election has been. And if you don't agree with me, that's your prerogative. Definitely using those firework displays there, like they were with Tao and Elle last time.
Me? Why are you looking at me like that?
Dog cuddles solve everything.
Yeah.
I'll gotta solve everything.
Seemed a little bit stressed lately.
Been a bit stressed all year. I just have way too much on my plate. I love my ballet classes, but I've got to get 3 buses.
Well, I can drive you to ballet.
You don't have to.
No, I want to.
That avoids you from taking 3 buses, and it allows you to talk, which is nice.
How are you and Charlie?
Charlie's been a lot better these days.
And how's Nick doing these days?
Yeah, I'm all good. Really got much going on, to be honest.
Well, that's because you've been focused on helping Charlie. Just need to remember to look after yourself, too. I still think journaling's really beneficial. Yeah, journaling.
It is the moment you've all been waiting for. Cucumbers and condoms.
We both want to take things further. I don't want to make things awkward again.
Well, it's already better than the sex education we had.
Yeah, there's sex education here. They've freaking drawn it down to part of a day in a workshop, and that's it.
Yeah, it's 2 classes and that's it.
Yeah, and ours is not once a year. It is one time, basically, in their entire public education.
And you're separated by gender.
Right. And ours was half a year in, like, science or health class or something like that. What are you learning about?
You could tell she wanted it, and to a point, I just...
I was boasting about it yesterday as well.
don't think that losing your virginity is that big of a deal. Like, it's probably going to be bad anyway.
It's a big deal because it's the first time you're having sex. That is a big deal.
Yeah. Just wait to manage.
I just enjoy making it sound like the most cinematic night of my life. We were in some random bedroom. We had no idea what we were doing. Maybe we get things wrong. You know, it's not some perfect, effortless thing. We love each other. If it's awkward, we can just laugh about it. I mean, it's supposed to be fun, isn't it?
One last thing to remember, folks.
Chlamydia is bad.
Zoe's interview. She didn't really mention it in the group chat.
Bad.
Yeah, it was,
Really bad.
I think they decided not to air it, actually.
That sucks.
I don't think I like it anymore.
Why not? I'm sorry about the interview.
Should have expected it.
No, you shouldn't.
No, you shouldn't have.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Document! Fuck off! Sorry.
Sorry, I didn't know he was here.
Just glad it wasn't your mum.
I'm mostly glad that he didn't go back in, complain. I'm just probably gonna complain about it later, but still.
I think this is the best drawing I've done so far. Look, I'm improving. I could be the next someone.
Tao Su, artist of goldfish.
Eh.
Did you want to talk about it? Is there anything I could do to make you feel better?
I'm worried about you. Don't worry. Decided I'm gonna look after myself and do what I want.
That includes doing me.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah, I did it. Perfect. Now everyone knows how much I love you and how much you love me.
Is he gonna get in trouble for having that all over his clothes?
Oh, it's year 11's last day before study hall. That's still one more day.
It might not, cause if it's the end of the year.
Charlie, can I have a quick word before you go? You're staying at Truham for sixth form, right?
Yeah?
Good. I wanted to give you this. Campaigning starts in the autumn.
Really? Why?
Well, you're smart, you're a strong person, and I think you could do a lot of good for the kids at this school. Something to think about over the summer.
There are a lot of younger students who would find it inspiring to see you as head boy.
Yeah, and you two would also probably find it inspiring.
Well, that's what he's thinking about, is that he didn't have anything like that growing up, which causes these kids to just repress themselves and repress their feelings, which is not healthy.
She probably thinks of herself as an ally.
And that's part of the problem.
But I was there to talk about my art.
Spoken to anyone about it?
I love Tao. And he would fight the world for me. But he just can't properly understand.
We might understand.
Maybe one night you could stay around mine, just us. Do you think your parents will let you? I know my mum will be fine with it.
Yeah,
I'll ask.
It's the last practice of the year.
Yeah, good luck getting Mum to agree to a boyfriend sleepover.
Yeah.
I'll ask her when she's in a good mood.
That doesn't happen very often.
If you and Nick want to have sex, then you'll have sex.
We know, but I have a husband that will insist that it's not an option.
If you two don't have any good advice, I'm gonna go.
No matter how much I disagree.
My advice to sleepover is unnecessary. I hope you do get to have your sex sleepover.
Michael, can you stop talking about my brother having sex? Please?
Sorry.
He seems like the kind of person I would be friends with. Completely oblivious to everything.
School is an option.
You had sex at school?
Yeah. It was a really bad idea.
Yeah, I don't think we're quite there yet. And also we have a history of getting walked in on.
There's so much pressure to have sex at our age, but People should just take as long as they need.
Charlie's been through a lot.
You've been through a lot too, Nick.
Not really, though.
It's okay to admit that Charlie being ill was tough for you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be the strong one all the time. I learnt that the hard way.
Why'd you have to be so smart?
R4. 1, 2, 3, R4. 1, 3, R4. 1, 2, 3, R4. 1.
Did you get the bus all the way here?
Yep, all three of them. Just wanted to see you dancing. You always look so happy when you're dancing. It's nothing compared to what you've done for me this year. I just don't think I would have had the courage to explore being non-binary if it weren't for you. You made it feel so easy and joyful.
It's not a huge deal. Unless you want it to be. It's just me and you.
Be careful. Thank you.
Really like that one.
Yeah, me too. We should try it again sometime.
I am nervous for him.
Yeah.
Has he talked to his dad about it?
Me and Nick were wondering if I could stay around his one night.
Oh, well, yes, at some point.
We were thinking soon.
I'm not sure, Charlie. I'm not saying no. You have your GCSE exams coming.
It looks like his dad knows.
Yeah.
And I'm mentally ill, so I can't.
No, that's not what I said.
So you're always thinking.
You're only 16 and you've been very ill.
Mum, seriously, what are you so worried about? We all love Nick.
I'm not a child. If I want to see my boyfriend, then I will. You can't stop me.
Charlie!
You okay?
More than okay, you both need to sit down and talk about your child and how to proceed with that.
But I love making these little videos to cheer up the people I love. I made you one.
She lays her head on me while she falls asleep. Perfect though I can't even see. I wouldn't change her at all. I could stare into her eyes and fall in love again every time. She remains to be, 'cause she will always be the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
I guess that's how I see you.
It feels like the whole world is against me.
You can always talk to me about it.
I'm just scared you won't get it.
But I'll try. I'll always try.
Nick? I need a distraction. Yeah. Nick, please don't leave me behind.
See, I feel like if he tells Charlie, Charlie would actually be willing to help him out figuring out
Hi.
where to go.
Yeah.
Hi. Should have texted. Sorry.
What's wrong?
And then she was like, you're only 16 and you've been ill. And it's like, okay, well, what's that got to do with me spending time with my boyfriend? She never listens to me. I'm just sick of everyone treading eggshells around me. Like, yeah, I've been ill, but that doesn't mean that I can't do fun things and be a teenager. I'm not fragile. I want to have sex with you. What's wrong with that?
The parents will be like, this is not a good direction for you. You shouldn't be having underage sex with your boyfriend.
Charlie, you're like the strongest person I've ever met.
I mean, I can't guarantee those parents would, but That's my stupid husband's main argument. Anything for any kind of sleepover that might involve any kind of intimacy is just no, not allowed, because that means you're condoning something. Even if you make sure that everything is set up, that nothing happens.
Yeah. Or if it's with the opposite sex or whatever sex you're interested in at all.
I think I'm more fragile than you are.
What? Why?
I feel a bit lost.
What do you mean?
I can't talk to anyone else like I talk to you. When I realised I was bi, I feel like I woke up because I was repressing so much of myself, not just my sexuality, but my thoughts and feelings, my personality. Just laughing and joking with my mates, but never really opening up to anyone. And now I'm thinking about uni and my future, and basically I'm just freaking out. That didn't make any sense.
It did.
That definitely made sense.
You're allowed to be a mess sometimes.
I'm a mess now, am I?
I think we're both a bit of a mess.
You came here all upset and I made it all about me.
Oh, shut up. Is anyone else home?
Sometimes it needs to be about you. It can't be about the other person all the time. You have to communicate your side also.
I used to call you my best friend way back before you.
Do you want my help?
Yeah.
Is this okay?
Tell me you love me.
That wasn't that bad. There was definitely parts where I was teary-eyed. But I feel like if they're communicating and getting things through, I think Elle still needs to communicate to somebody what's happened and how that's affecting her. Because what those people did was wrong. You can claim you're a fucking ally all you want, but when you fucking refuse to listen to the people that you're claiming to be an ally for, and you put them on a spot like that, put them in a position where they're supposed to be there for their art, and then you turn it around and make it about their identity instead, that's just not fucking right. But I did not see any betrayals from what I could tell. I'm not sure what that was about. I am pretty sure it was supposed to be episode 7 that I had seen that about. Haven't seen anything for episode 8 yet because I haven't looked at that stuff. And I'm not looking at the description on the screen right now.
I don't even know what that last word is. Now you're reading it.
Feet, maybe? SARS band plays at a feet. I read the last sentence.
I was mostly thinking about how at least Charlie's mother is like pushing him away from all this stuff. And I'm just thinking, really in this situation, you know whether you like it or not, they're going to have intimate interactions. So it would be much better to make sure that you are being open to that stuff so that you know when it's going to happen and you know that your kid knows what's going on and that you explain to them how to do this stuff safely.
Yeah. I've always been on the side that when it comes to this stuff, the kids are going to have sex. They're going to do stuff that isn't necessarily safe, that isn't necessarily sound or wise. With stuff like sex, you need to make sure that they're educated. You need to make sure that they understand how to treat each other right, that they understand how to communicate with each other, things like that. Blocking them from being involved, to me, is going to push them closer together. Not providing the information that they do need, especially being as horrible as our freaking sex education is here. But even outside of that, like sex education, even when I was in school, was not good. It was not very good. It definitely did not teach you appropriate behavior in a relationship, which I think is one of the most important things. Knowing how to identify flags for abuse and stuff like that. Having the confidence to speak up for yourself and do the right thing for yourself while also being conscientious of your partner. Like, all of that stuff is important, but also making sure that they know what is important for their sex education, for them to be protected, those who could get pregnant, not to get pregnant, to not spread STIs and STDs, all of that stuff. Like, that stuff is important, but especially those good, solid relationship skills are important. And if you're just pushing your kid away, then that's not helpful. But I will say that when I was a kid, if I had ever entertained the idea of going to a boyfriend's or girlfriend's house for a sleepover and my mom knew that we were in an intimate relationship, there's no way that she would have ever agreed to it. I am very, very different from my mom in that respect. But I'm also very, very different from my husband in that respect. He won't freaking go for anything like that. It's kind of a battle of wills trying to make sure that my kids understand the importance of a good relationship and good relationship skills, and hopefully are being taught about sex education enough. And those are uncomfortable conversations that nobody wants to have, but they need to happen.
In French, it's pronounced fait. English, it should be pronounced feet according to our rules, but we actually pronounce it fate.
Fate.
And means it's a celebration or festival.
Okay. Yeah, because I wouldn't have known any of that. I don't hear we would have called it a festival or a celebration, or probably a festival. I think most of the places I've looked at things like that, they've labeled it as a festival. Of course, they're also writing in English for English people. So...
Although, it is interesting that in the actual definition it said that that's the definition for North American English.
I don't know, because it's not a word that I was really privy to. Like, I've heard of a feat, and I've heard of the fates. I've heard of festivals, but not a fate as in a celebration. Or a feat, like, if I heard the word feat, I wouldn't think of a celebration. I would think of, like, that was quite a feat that you did there. Like, that kind of feat. Apparently they're lost in thought.
Okay, so with the whole thing where Hal was telling Elle that they might not understand what they're going through or how to help with what they're going through, but at least they'll be there and they'll try. It feels like there's two different ways of helping people and like making them feel better and just deal with stuff. And one of them is to actually know what you're doing and how to help them. And the other one is just trying. And it's just interesting that just the fact that they are trying is enough to sometimes help.
And I thought the way he approached things and she didn't want to talk, asking if she's okay, checking and seeing if there was some way that he could help, I thought that was good. These kids seem to just be so much further advanced in that stuff than kids were when I was a kid, because none of us had the fucking emotional depth and development to freaking maneuver some of that stuff in those kinds of intelligent ways. But of course society wasn't teaching us to be that way. Society basically taught us to avoid anything that seemed remotely untoward, and all of this was untoward. So there was no real education on how to handle that. There was no real education on how to have a good relationship. There was all this pushing to not have a relationship, to never have sex, to not be yourself, certainly not let the rest of the world know who you are if you are anything outside the norm.
Yeah, that reminds me of the thing we saw in my sociology class for the advertisements. They were saying how the stereotypes tell women be the impossible, to like be both innocent and virgin-like while also being experienced and seductive, and like all these like opposites, like you can't be both of them, or just things that
they
are
really
impossible.
trap us into this. You cannot be a decent girl because no matter what you do, you're not going to be good enough for some reason. If you err on one side or the other too much, then you're going to be looked down upon by like huge groups of people. for all kinds of shit that we're freaking brought up and raised to be a certain way. And then we're demonized for being that way. Brought up in some cases to be completely different than that. And then we're demonized for that. It's like no matter what you do, you're freaking demonized. You're treated like trash. You're not listened to. You're taken for granted. It's all very frustrating. I think that's probably enough of like the political talk, the sexual talk. Like there's just so many things, and I know it's all important, but this recording is already over an hour long, and I know I'm going to have a lot to clean up in here so that I don't make it too god awful. And like I said at the beginning, I will try to put timestamps in so that people can see where things are, try to be able to skip around if they need to, if they want to avoid certain things, because we definitely did a lot of talking on this one. But that's all I got for you this week. I will see you next week for, I believe, the season finale. So this was the penultimate episode, and next week will be the season finale, and then we have to wait for eons for season 4 to come out, and I'm so sorry about that. And I know I have no control over that, but I can be sorry about something that affects us all that I have no control over.
Yep, absolutely everybody's going to be affected by when season 4 of Heartstopper releases.
Everyone will be affected by when season 4 of Heartstopper comes out.
It'll solve all our problems. Every single one. It'll just magically, everybody will watch it and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I know how to exist. I realized I was wrong. We shouldn't be idiots anymore. And the end, world peace, everyone's happy. That's definitely what's going to happen.
After Heartstopper, I'm going to be starting on Bridgerton. I have a few episodes already ready because I recorded those way back before I went on vacation, and some of the episodes after I went on vacation. But then I had a lot of other stuff I was working on. So I'm almost done with Death Note. I think I still have 3 or 4 more episodes or something like that to air. And then after that, we'll be working on Tokyo Ghoul. And I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, I'll see you when I see you. Bye. Until next time, I'll see you when I see you. If you like this video, please click the like button. If you want more content, click subscribe. If you click that little bell and click all, then you'll get more content notifications.